26th of September. Now, I know a lot of people say, what's important about that? Well, the Lacrosse finals were on. All the grades were playing, but they play in the one venue. Played down at the Brighton Lacrosse venue, which is
a great venue,
absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
2 stories, but we've got to talk about the club a little bit as well. So we thought we'd find out a bit about them. Jason Webb, the president's been good enough to come in. Trish Adams, absolute superstar. Australian player, Australian coach.
Yes.
Coached the team on the weekend of the grand final. So Trish has just been able to dust herself off and get in for 5 minutes, so we need to get on. Hey, appreciate you guys coming in. Maybe start with you, Jason. I mean, it's a full day of lacrosse down there for the club, and it was massive, mate, and especially for your club. 13 teams in the finals, mate. 8 premierships come out of the Saturday, so not a bad day for Brighton.
It's a pretty good haul. Just as well, we've got a new club room because we've got a lot more trophies and pennants and everything to put up in it. But it was an amazing day. And you're right, it was a very long day. We had people on the ground from 6 in the morning, and I probably for legal reasons can't say what time people left that night, but yeah, it was really, really good.
Hey mate, just quickly, we'll get to the women in a second, but the men, of course, winning the final. They're down 1-6 at half-time.
Yeah.
What's your thinking at half-time?
Look, I was sitting next to Corey Wingard in the hospitality tent, just trying to stay positive.
As you would.
And, you know, there was a few people starting to sneak out the back of the tent and head off. But straight after half-time, the guys just came out firing. It was one of the most... I've watched a lot of lacrosse games. That was by far and away one of the most exciting I've ever seen. It was brilliant.
One of the things about that game was, and it was mentioned that Glenelg was shell-shocked. Now, that's an interesting point.
Yep.
I mean, why were they shell-shocked? Did it look to you as if Glenelg had that game in their control and they were shell-shocked, or they were shell-shocked because why?
Look, at half-time, they definitely had that game in control. The first half of the game they'd had in control.
Okay, played well. Yeah.
And pretty much the season they'd had in control. So, you know, first of all, my commiserations to them, because it would have been a real shock loss to them. I think they'd gone in strong favourites.
Okay.
They'd been undefeated all season, and over the 3 games we'd had leading up to them, we'd managed to get closer and closer to their scoreline. But I don't think anyone would have predicted what transpired in that second half with 10 goals to 2.
Yeah. It's amazing, it's amazing how you say commiserations with a smile on your face.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. But that makes it a great win, doesn't it? That's what I was getting at. That the 3 times you did play them during the season, they won.
Yeah.
So they would have gone in red hot, and that happens a fair bit. They done it. The old red hot favourite. You know, I'd always worry going in to be the red hot. Favourite.
Mate, if you want to talk about red hot favourite, when the women's team's been in the grand final 23 out of 24 times, and you're the coach sitting there, I don't know if there's anything more hot than that.
But why are you still the coach if you've only done 23 out of 24? What happened to the 24th? Why have you
Trish wasn't there for that. Right. Hey, Trish, let's talk about the women's grand final. Obviously, you're confident going in. You've had a pretty good year. At what stage did you think, yeah, we're okay?
When the final whistle went.
So every coach says that.
That's cliche, but true. We had a great season, undefeated, and I had watched throughout the day. My kids play lacrosse, so I'd been there watching their premiership games, and Brighton had had a really successful day. I had managed to catch the end of the men's game with this massive turnaround, unreal second half. And thought to myself, my goodness, Glenelg hadn't lost a game all season. My girls haven't lost a game all season, and you know, it dawned on me that could happen to us. And so in the locker room, we definitely were having the conversation, you know, that we needed to make sure we're sharp and not complacent. And my girls are certainly never that. Really high expectations, I guess, from myself as a coach, but they have that on themselves as well. And they didn't just want to win the game; they wanted to have their greatest performance of the season. So they were really focused on that, and I think it did become a closer game than what we were anticipating. We did lose one of our Aussie athletes during the week. She tore her ACL on the Monday prior to the grand final in training. And she's one of our strongest players. She allows us to play a style of defence that we actually can't play without her. So a backer style defence. We can play it, but we're not as successful. So our whole game plan changed and evolved during the week. So it was certainly a tumultuous week. I also lost a really close friend and mentor of mine during the week prior, my general manager with the Australian lacrosse team. So the week certainly wasn't what we're expecting with our lead up. And so for us, our focus needed to be so razor sharp going into that game, knowing how much was at stake. Our other senior women's teams had all been successful in their effort to win. So we'd won the Division 2 and I'd played and won the Division 1 women's. So we wanted the clean sweep and a perfect season. So we all senior grades in the women's, we went through not just undefeated, but all premiers as well. So for me, I just wanted to top that off for the club. The club is so dear to my heart, and I just didn't want to let them down and lose that final one, the final piece to the puzzle.
It's interesting. I'm sitting here listening to you as you're talking, and I'm thinking, coaches, depending on what level you're at, and you're at the elite level with the Australian team, they don't like to be distracted during the day. They like to stay focused. And I'm listening to Trish go, I'm watching my daughters play, then I watch the men play, then I lost my best friend, then my best player did an ACL, and I'm thinking, I'll probably skip how you handle the motion of the game day, because clearly you've got a system where you deal with that and filter it really well.
Well, I didn't feel like I was coping with it that well during the day. I have a lot of support around me, but it certainly it wasn't my ideal lead-up for sure. And the men's game, my partner coaches the senior men, and I basically had said, I'm not watching that game. I need an hour to myself. And so I was in the locker room with an hour to myself, and then I hear this roar start coming from outside, and I love lacrosse. I just couldn't help myself. Went outside and watched them, with the final few goals, and it certainly lifted me, up and out of that, I guess, frustration during the preparation. I felt really ready to head into the game. So,
Trish, where do we sit in the world of lacrosse? You're the Australian women's senior coach.
Yes.
Where do we sit? Where does Australia sit?
The women finished 4th at the last World Cup. We lost in overtime for a bronze medal. So heading in, we're aiming for a gold medal appearance, definitely. That's the level that we have as expectation here in Australia. So we have slipped a little in recent years. The under-19 women just finished bronze medalists, so I was involved in that last year. And we're starting to claw our way back. We have an expectation here that we should be in the gold medal every campaign. And this group of girls that we have that I'm working with at the moment, I certainly see that as a reality. So while we might appear 4th at the moment, I definitely think that we're in the top couple.
Who do we need to beat? Who does Australia need to beat? Who's the world champs?
The USA.
USA?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. They've got 30 plus thousand, women playing lacrosse over there compared to our 3,000 here.
Yeah.
So, but we've always played punch well above our weight, on a world scale, and we will continue to do that just because, we're so passionate and connected and committed here in Australia with our lacrosse, and we have great leaders and mentors, ahead of us. So.
I think we've been really smart with this, Trish, is you send your sister over, Jen, to coach at Loyola into the American system so she can undermine the Americans.
Exactly right.
Do you get a lot of information? I mean, I know Jen's coaching at Loyola, which is a fantastic sporting college in the States in California. She's got 18 to 22-year-olds. You're coaching senior women, and obviously you still talk to each other. Are the philosophies different between 18 and 22 in a senior women's group? I know college lifestyle and stuff, but the philosophies?
Well, in senior women, I actually have girls aged 17 and up. So I deal with a really broad spectrum. I think my age group with this one ranges from 17 through to 40 or so. And so, the squad itself has a lot of different management. I really network with my sister that's at Loyola, Han that's at Michigan, so another Brighton Lacrosse Club player, Hannah, who's over coaching at Michigan, Sonia, who's over coaching at Towson. So we have 3 Brighton Lacrosse Club reps that are over coaching in top colleges in the US, and they are so great at sharing information and helping us, continue to grow lacrosse here. That's been amazing. But yeah, we have a lot of similarities, but things are a little bit different. I mean, I have girls that are just babies at 17, and then I have women with babies that they're trying to manage training. So it's it's a different group to manage, having such variety.
Hey Jason, the Brighton Lacrosse Club fosters or sends a lot of kids to the United States. They've got a terrific number of athletes playing over there currently. What do you think the benefit is for the lacrosse club sending them to the States?
I think it's something that's very aspirational for a lot of our juniors to be able to see some of the kids that really aren't that much older than them that all of a sudden have an opportunity to go to America. Now, might not be the destination of choice at the moment, but
has been previously.
Yeah, but the level of coaching that they get over there and the exposure that they get to how big lacrosse is. Lacrosse is the fastest growing sport in America and has been for the last few years. So, the hope is that filters down back to Australia, and we've seen even just in the last 12 months of opening this new club room and having more of a conversation in our local community about lacrosse and having politicians coming down and having a look at the facility and the games. All of that started to increase the conversation. So for these kids going to America and being able to experience what college level lacrosse and the level of professionalism and the level of facility, that is available, and it gives them the understanding that, you know what, you can go and play and make a name for yourself overseas and become an international level player. And that's something that doesn't necessarily exist on other sporting codes within our country.
Well, Jason, I've got to read these out, mate, because this is the sort of day that Brighton have had. This is a shocking day. I'd only be behind the bar that night. Under 13 boys, these are the premiership teams. Under 13 boys, under 17 boys, undefeated. Under 18 girls, undefeated. Division 2 women, undefeated. Division 1 men, Division 1 women, undefeated. State League men and State League women, undefeated. That is a day's work from the Brighton Lacrosse Club, mate. That's not a bad day's work.
Oh, that's pretty solid.
For sure.
I think it's spectacular. Hey, we appreciate both of you coming in. I know it's been a really busy time. Well done to the Brighton Lacrosse Club.
Exactly.
It's just an outstanding record for both of you. And hopefully we'll get back and talk a bit more about lacrosse. I think it deserves much more publicity than it gets. Stay with us. Still, a bit more to come.